everyone? This is David Stark from WatcherPass.com, your website for movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Today we have a full house because I'm joined by Sam and Mattie, the stars, and Jesse and Bobby, the directors of Sam and Mattie Make a Zombie Movie. We're going to talk to them in just a second, but first let's check out the trailer. And while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. It helps me out a lot. Thank you.
Hey, this is Cindy calling from Albert High School. I was calling because there's a bunch of zombie bodies in the cafeteria. We can't have body parts and bodies in the cafeteria.
You're lying now.
It's the fog.
You guys want to tell me something about your upcoming movie?
Our zombie movie is at you have action,
Yeah.
sex, stunts,
PG-13, no sex.
stunts. Oh hell yeah! There's a huge party going on.
Okay.
This cruise ship, this DJ Pauly D, DJing the music.
Two New England teens are breaking barriers, trying to make it big in Hollywood.
An ambitious new project starring two unlikely heroes and zombies.
It's his thing. I did that chicken.
Oh nice. Yeah, are you English?
Yep.
Where?
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Wow. You look awesome.
Even his room is so cool too.
I'm auditioning for the film. I want to be in Spring Break Zombie Massacre.
He wants to be in Spring Break Zombie Massacre too.
You want to be totally. All right, totally.
That sounds awesome.
I do have a
checking with
question for
Bobby.
you.
Yeah.
What kind of movies that you review?
What kind of movies? I review anything. Pretty much anything that comes my way, I'll watch it and review it. I tend to do, anything kind of blockbuster that comes my way, I'll watch it. But just kind of with the movies that are coming out right now, I do a lot of indie films and a lot of horror, actually, a lot of horror movies because they seem to be pretty popular, and I like horror. So, what about you all? What movies do you like the most?
I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's a good one.
Hostile, and Human Centipede.
And I detect a trend.
Yeah.
My favorites are the basic horror ones,
Okay.
like Jason vs. Freddy, The Number on Elm Street, Psycho, that I started in college, so it's really cool one too.
Okay.
What else? What other horror films? There's like so many. I'm becoming more of like a big student of the horror genre.
Mhm.
Like, I know what. It's like Mattie. I think Mattie's more
Torture.
not torture. No, I think you love everything horror, right?
Mhm.
Like in general. So like I'm learning about it through Mattie, and the kids love it and knowledge about it. So I'm like the student of it in a way.
Okay. That's really interesting that that Mattie kind of was the force, behind your both of your love of horror. So that, like, did you get into horror around the same time? Like, Mattie, did you kind of discover horror and then you're like, yo, Sam, let's go, let's look at these awesome movies that I found?
Basically, when I get into horror movies, the first thing I watched it was My Bloody Valentine 3D, the remake, and then Friday the 13th is a remake.
Mhm.
House of Wax, the remake, and Dawn of the Dead also was a remake. Also,
Yeah, those are all good. Those are all good remakes. That's a good kind of time to get into it. And so did you and Sam watch those movies together, or did you watch them and then after you're like, Sam, come, you should come see this?
Well, at the time, we really too sensitive. So like that, he's younger. Right now, he's getting used to it of watching it right now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Nice.
He's getting desensitized to horror movies.
Desensitized, yeah, pretty much. Movies that I know, right, are sci-fi, warfare, and like that. Like I have a complete encyclopedia about fantasy warfare, pretty much. So, but I all horror.
I love how you are getting desensitized to horror after you made a very bloody, very fun horror film. So I feel like that should have desensitized you as well.
It was funny that so Mattie was the hardcore one that had all the gnarliest scenes written, but Sam, you didn't like getting blood on you on set as much, right?
No, but I think learning from that, like I got past that fear. I think that has got me past fears. But he got me past the fear of blood when we went to Los Angeles, right? And then we got to see the Chucky doll and like the guy behind special effects. He shows how he made the blood and the makeup, and that actually wasn't too bad. So when we showed me that kind of got me to accept having blood, on my knuckles.
Yeah, and
did you see the scene where Mattie met Tony Gardner?
Yes. Yeah.
That was the moment. Like we all knew that Mattie was a huge horror fan, but when Mattie and Tony were talking shop, everybody was just like, "Oh my god!" Like we knew you were into horror, but like we didn't know how encyclopedic your knowledge of horror movies.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and it's really funny. Tony worked on a new movie called Freaky.
Really?
Yeah.
Freaky?
Yeah.
I haven't heard about it yet.
Yeah, it's this girl switched her body to a serial killer.
Oh, all right.
It's awesome.
It's a really good movie. It's got Vince Vaughn and who is the lead? I forget what the lead's name is, but it is a fantastic film.
You know,
you got good taste. And I like how Sam, when you started kind of getting behind the scenes in horror, you started to kind of be able to be more comfortable with it, and that's kind of what the documentary does as well. We get to see behind the film. You get to see the actors without the makeup on. You get to see the process that they go through, which I think is a very interesting thing for any horror fan, because you really don't get to see that.
I watched that same thing on YouTube when I watch like haunted house videos on YouTube, and they do behind the scenes, really do like the makeup of the actors. It's like the same thing.
Do you want to talk about your fear of haunted houses? It's pretty relevant.
Actually, yes, I do.
Okay, great.
I do fear haunted houses, and I'm hoping that the power of the movie can help me conquer that fear. Because when I was younger, I had a bad hound experience with that, so that's kind of why. So
a lot of this is about conquering Sam's fears.
Yeah, that's my fears. Yes.
Hey, if you can make an awesome movie and conquer fears, that's a win-win. And I to be honest, I don't like haunted houses either. Like I don't. There's a lot of unknown there. That
it's like watching it on YouTube is more safer than in person. So it's kind of why I like to watch it somewhere else, get scared, and then grab it. Yeah. Which helps. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. I definitely agree. It kind of makes it.
Sorry.
No. You can talk. You're the stars. I'm just sitting here.
Yeah. So you ever try to go to Simon's Slaughterhouse?
Okay.
Simon's Slaughterhouse?
Yeah.
Where's that?
It's a haunted house attraction.
Where?
It's down in Texas.
In Texas. Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. My advice is to go to McCramey Manor.
You all have this amazing knowledge of horror in general, and then haunted houses too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said that Mattie was kind of, so you both wrote the film, right? So I guess what was that process like? Did you have the movie in your heads at the start, or did you just kind of start making cool scenes and then just kept doing that and connecting them together? How did that process work?
I think I had an idea in my head that motivated me to put that idea on paper. It's like the same thing when I write songs. It's the same thing. I write songs too.
Oh, nice.
Which is obvious. So I had a vision in my head of a storyboard that just literally I thought of and put it on, and I'm not so sure that Jesse would like it or Mattie would like it, but I ended up did like it, and then kept going with it.
And how did you work with Mattie to put his scenes in?
But with Mattie, the cool thing about me and Mattie in general is I'm the substance and Mattie's the flash. Mattie has all the crazy, big, flashy ideas, right? So I sit with Mattie, right? Then we talk about it, right? And as we talk about it and put it down, that's when we get a final idea by rather than just thinking big and not writing it down, we just write it down. So
I love that you both have like very distinct roles, and you kind of help each other and feed off each other to make, you know, everything better. Like I think that's awesome that you both kind of have your interests, and then together you make something even cooler.
I wasn't lucky enough to be there for some of that initial conception conversation, but when we were scripting, when we were turning the storyboard, like the scenes into like dialogue, I got to watch the two of them just riff, and like Mattie would say something like wild, and Sam would be like, "That's really good. Let's just bring it down like 2," and then Mattie would bring it back up 1, and then they'd end up at like a 9.
Well, and that whole process is one thing I really love about this film. Is it's, I think in my review I said it was like an unfiltered, uncompromising film, because you have, you know, any other movie, these crazy ideas, they'd be like, oh, let's not do that. But here, you went with it, and you did whatever you wanted to do, and the film, you know, is all the better for it. So I think that's a really cool feature of this movie, and also just a cool feature of the documentary to be able to see that as well.
I think it was a great learning experience for me because, you know, again, being like the wet blanket, like Captain Reality, like thinking about our budget, you know, Sam would be like, okay, like, so the Bionics, for example, like I didn't know about the Bionics being such an essential part of this. And then the subplot about their bionic implants became clear to me as we were getting through the scripting about how that's how the powers emerge. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I was just thinking like, I don't know how we're going to do Bionics. Like, I don't like, that sounds like a lot of special effects. I don't know if we can. And they were just like, we don't care. It has to be Bionics. There's no other way. And it was just like, they were like, figure it out.
Yeah.
And they were, it's like one of the coolest parts of the movie. They were totally right. Like, thank God they didn't listen to me, because it's awesome.
Well, and I like that like just like how you two have different interests and kind of different specialties, the Bionics affected your characters differently. Whereas Mattie, it made you kind of like stronger and more robotic, and Sam, it made you, you know, kind of have almost superpowers, you know,
and radioactive.
Yeah. So I think that was cool too, that you both kind of, even though you were both bionic in the film, you had different kind of focuses for it.
Yeah, I think what makes it cool too is like with the bionic subplot, right? Because I'm into like biology and science. I have like a science element to it, so that's kind of why. And I'm a bit of a science nerd myself, like in the way of like biology. That's why the term bionics come from. The biology of humans, in a way. So me and Mattie are generic humans and are generic people, right? That have different abilities. So like, Mattie's ability is like jumping the gun, you know, not thinking and balls out crazy. Me, right? I'm more of a thinker. Like I use the head. So it's like the bronze. Like Mattie's the bronze, but I'm the brains, pretty much. I like the smart one.
I mean, to be able to make this film, I think you both are smart, and you're both talented, right? I think that's kind of the takeaway of this entire movie, is that, you know, you both contributed to this movie and to kind of every aspect about it. Like, this film doesn't come together if it's just one or the other, but, you know, with you two together, you're able to kind of play on your strengths and really make this happen.
Well, I would say Mattie is smart too. Like, I'm not gonna sell Mattie short. Like he is smart in some ways or in most ways. Me, it's just constant dialogue brain all the time. That's flowing.
Which is huge for a script. I mean, that's like, I don't think I could be a good writer for dialogue, right? Like, I might be more on the Flash side. Like, oh, this would be a cool scene, but, you know, trying to come up with, you know, all the dialogue and all the characters, I think that would be too tough for me to do. So I think that's.
Can I say about Flash scenes? One of the Flash scenes that we did having, I was ripping the zombie's head off. That's what I did. I remember the scene that we're talking about doing, getting babies covered in blood and like body parts on the ground, all that stuff. That's gonna turn towards extremely violent. That's so like that. It reminds me of Saw when they do all that stuff. There's a lot of prosthetics in Saw movies. You ever review on Saw movies?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, if they come my way, I'll watch them and review them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't expect the scene we were in the hospital scene, the devil ripping guns out of the woman's stomach.
Oh, that, yeah.
I thought it was a zombie movie for me. It wasn't too a zombie to me.
Well,
what was it?
Yeah, the guts.
You think that's too much?
No, I don't mind that. It seems
Yeah,
like
I
not
want-
zombie related.
Yeah, I think like
Yeah.
Mattie just come with flash ideas. And sometimes I do too. Not all the time, except for substance, but sometimes
Yeah,
there's like a flashy scene that I like.
I love
It's
zombies.
like the
They're awesome.
devil like peeing on the gut. The devil
That's the best
peeing
part
in the
of it.
purse bowl. You
Yeah,
know?
why did you make the devil pee on stuff so often?
Because the devil's pretty much he's a child. He doesn't really like to be told what to do in a way. So that's why he does whatever he wants. So I'm like the first responder, like the police officer, tell him, hey, knock it off, or go behind the bars, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or knock it off.
I do want to clear up one thing. A lot of people think in the scene where the devil's peeing on the intestines at the end of that murder at the birth scene, that it's his tail that you see between his legs. I just want to be clear about that. A lot of people think we were being graphic. It was just the tail of the devil suit, but a lot of people thought we were getting even racier.
Yeah.
No, I saw the tail, but I could see where that confusion could be.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the scene is horrible enough without that,
But again, that's those scenes they were funny, and they're also just kind of the kind of things that in, I don't know, more of a mainstream movie, those wouldn't exist. But because you had unfiltered, uncensored to some extent access to make this movie, you were able to just kind of throw in whatever you wanted.
Was kind of like my favorite entertainment, where like no holds barred, like non-filtered, like here's the truth, we're gonna show you the truth, and then some people may not like it or may like the truth, but it's the truth. But in general, with cultural ideas, people are starving for that cultural truth in movies. So it's kind of like.
Yeah, no, definitely. Speaking of the truth, Jesse, so were you always planning on making a documentary about making this movie? Was that something that you always had? Or did you, after the movie came out, you're like, well, we have all this awesome footage, we should slap it together and show people how this movie was made?
So when we were putting up the Kickstarter, it was something that a lot of people asked for. They were like, oh, we want to see this movie, of course. Like that, everybody, especially my top priority was making their zombie movie exactly as they envisioned it. But everybody that we were talking to about it at the same time was like, yeah, but we also really want to see more of Sam and Mattie's process. And so when we put up the Kickstarter, we promised both movies. So it was promised from the initial funding that we were going to deliver 2 movies. I promised those things having absolutely no idea how hard it is to make one movie, not to mention 2 movies simultaneously at a lot of times. But we took the promise seriously. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that I've learned a lot about long form documentary filmmaking throughout this process. And one of the key things that I've learned is it's usually good to have an idea of the arc of the film before you start shooting, which we did not. We had about I remember we were trying to get people to help us edit it. We're like, it's amazing. We have 300 hours of footage. That was a good thing. And they're like, that's horrible. How are you gonna sift through all that? You have no idea what you're doing. And so that's why it took us so much longer than I think the Kickstarter backers would have liked to complete the documentary, because we had to sort of wait to figure out what the real story, what the arc of the whole story was, because we were just documenting it as honestly as possible.
Yeah.
We didn't go after something happened. We weren't how did that make you feel, Sam? It was just a lot of really just ambient filming that was as honest to what was happening as possible. And so yes, so we were shooting it the whole time, but we had no idea what we were going to do with it until very, very late in the game.
Got it. And the timeline was the Kickstarter in 2015? Is that right?
I think it's 2014.
2014. Okay. And then Spring Break Zombie Massacre came out in 2017.
2016.
2016. Okay.
I think the Kickstarter was funded in 2014.
Okay.
No, that can't be right. No, because yes.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
2014, 2015. And I think it was about a year after the Kickstarter was funded. Spring Break Zombie Massacre came out. So yeah, so it'd be 2015, and then it came out in 2016, and then now 2021.
Which is great because, right before kind of spring break happens and maybe people are hesitant to go outside, here comes this movie where you're like, yeah, maybe you should wait another year, wait for everything to calm down, and then next year after you can, everyone can go crazy.
Measure. Yeah, the CDC really wanted us to put this out to scare people.
Exactly. So Sam and Mattie, you both got to do some pretty cool stunts, with weapons and with hand-to-hand combat and things like that. Did you all have to do any sort of training before that, or did you just kind of learn on the set with the professionals and the stunt people to kind of get all that down?
I think mostly we learned it like on set. We had a stunt coordinator named was it
Rui.
Yeah, Rui. It was
Rui.
Rui, who is a karate person that knows our just friend Dan Niebles that taught him karate. So he taught us so he taught me like the fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So like we fight the double in the prom scene. I go up and then do the headbutt and then go for the nuts. Yeah, but with the boat scene though, you see more like the shift and the Bionics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the uppercut as well. So like Rui, I think Rui mostly focused more on me in particular because I was the one that went toe to toe with the double.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, with Mattie though, his stuff he just did right away by himself.
Yeah.
It's like he would like shoot the zombie, or he would hit the zombie hit the zombie with the shotgun, or
Why were you so
Yeah.
natural with that shotgun?
Yeah, or like in the hallway where you brush with the shotgun too.
Yeah.
Where
Wait,
we
Mattie,
look-
what was the answer? Why were you so natural?
We would have a shotgun and a chainsaw in the sequel.
Oh, I like that.
That's cool.
Do have both.
Had you practiced like shooting a shotgun, like or acting with weapons?
I did down in Warren called a place called Gun Range
Oh, you went to the gun range?
to try it before the movie. Bobby took me there before we were shooting the movie.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
He
okay.
paid for it.
Okay. Well, I guess they went to the shooting range to
Oh,
get
wow.
ready.
Yeah.
Did you-
That's
Nice.
Bobby,
What-
the director of Spring Break Zombie Massacre.
Bobby,
So he takes it very seriously. getting ready for
You're like, I didn't see it. I don't want to know.
No, I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I would say the good thing about Bobby, he got me ready for the jail scene that I was in. Because I'm very raw emotionally and deep myself, and demonic myself too, which helps with the jail scene where you see where I turned into the demon. So like within the jail scene, it wasn't zombie makeup; it was
really
demon
good.
makeup.
Oh,
It was kind of
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I didn't catch
Me
that.
and
Though. That's
Bobby-
subtle.
Yeah, so me and Bobby were sitting in the jail cell. We're talking about like deep, raw, emotional stuff.
Mhm.
Get me into the emotional, demonic kind of mentality, and with the drug deal thing too, to kind of played along with that in a way.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that subtle part about the makeup. That didn't even come up in the movie or in the documentary either.
There's a lot of depth that which wasn't time.
Excellent. One thing I love seeing, and I'm sure many indie filmmakers are jealous about this, is the casting call. You had to find free actors, so you went on a casting call, and it seemed like the response was really, really positive. So what was it like, kind of getting all these people who wanted to make your film, and then being able to pick the cast for these characters that you had in your head? What was that process like, and was it, did the characters on the screen, were those the ones that you were kind of thinking of when you were making the movie, or did it not matter because they were so good?
So the cast members to me that stood out is Oz Hollick, right, who plays the bully, right, which I also confirm as well. Then you see Nikki, who plays the hot kind of girlfriend, right, of my character, because mine is a more romantic or Superman kind of like I'm like the Clark Kent of the movie. I'll say it that way. So, and then you have AJ, who's the diva girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who kind of has the attitude and the snarky comments and the same makes a lot of sense.
Oh,
There's Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa.
There we go.
Drinking.
What's up, man?
How's it going?
Pretty good. Is that lighting behind your couch?
It is lighting behind my couch.
Pretty
So,
good.
This is an indie development too, but I've been doing it for a little bit, so I got some toys.
Awesome.
The look is just spectacular. It took me a while to
Thank
get over the whole vibe.
Thank you.
Well, wait, you were asking about casting, and do you want to talk about when you saw Justine's tape?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, let's hear that.
So we asked her to be in the movie to be Miss Elizabeth. She had 2 parts.
Do you remember the first time you saw her tryout? What I'm forgetting?
Audition.
Sorry, it's been a long weekend. You remember?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, basically, we wanted somebody to play my girlfriend in the movie. It was I look at her resume. She was in the show called I've got a show called DLC. So the show's about what she's telling me about. It's about the show about she's murdering her ex-husband, the murderer. Honey, I love you.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's like, yeah, Justine was really fun. Like, she's like a dear friend to me too. It was really cool. And Justine is that. So it's very similar to AJ, because when, say, Bobby was directing, I think Justine was a little bit of a diva to Bobby a little bit too. And my mom knows.
No, so I would never say that ever.
Well, she was.
But I did find Mattie in the backyard at one point while we were casting, and I was like, Mattie, what are you watching? And he was just watching Justine's audition tape over and over, and I was like, I guess we've got that role cast.
Yeah.
And she ended up playing 2 roles, not only Mattie's teacher, but when the teacher gets murdered by zombies, then her daughter comes in, and Justine plays her daughter as well, who's also Mattie's love interest in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
One thing that I totally regret is we don't have any footage. I wish I was recording of Mattie watching that audition tape. It's like one of the bigger regrets, because it was just like a 3-second audition. You know, it's just like her being like, "Oh no," and no, it was the part in the movie when she says like, "You're mine, Tiger," and Justine's wearing a hoodie and she unzips the hoodie and has like a regular shirt on underneath, but Mattie's just watching it over and over again, and we just like don't have the footage of that for the documentary. It's just like a huge mistake.
I don't think it would be an exaggeration to say you fell in love with Justine while watching her audition tape.
Yeah.
Hey, Mattie's method. He's a method actor, so.
And I do. Hey, Bobby.
Yeah.
Tell her Justine this. Tell Justine, I do have a lot of hots about you.
Yeah.
I think she knows.
I think she definitely.
I think she does.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the main characters were pretty easy to cast. What about some of the other people? Were those also just was the response really great and it was easy to kind of come to the conclusion, come to the characters, or did you fret over it? It seemed like in the documentary when you kind of knew you knew. So is that how it was with the rest of the characters in the film?
As far as casting, I want to make sure I understand the question.
Yeah, casting, like not the love interest or things like that, like the other characters. Did you just kind of know when you got them, or was it more
like
difficult?
Everything else in the movie, it was super organic.
Okay.
I like, for example, Tyler Schnabel, who plays their best friend. Believe it or not, I think he was probably the best actor of any of us or any other 2 people put together. And he was a Kickstarter backer who just paid for a role. And when he showed up in Rhode Island from Los Angeles, and everybody's like, who is this guy? He's an incredible actor. Wait, what is happening? This guy's like professional. And they quickly were like, you should just play one of the main characters. And that was like totally an organic thing that happened in real time. And there was lots of that. Like Sam, getting Henry, right? Like,
well, Henry is my high school gym teacher from Hope High School.
Mm-hmm.
The guy looks like he kind of looks like a father in a way, so it makes a lot more sense, and like in a way. And with Tyler, like it was good too. Like me and Tyler, I think we bonded together, like on set too, because we were bonding over like Tyler Posey, who was one of my favorite actors on MTV.
Oh, Teen Wolf.
So with Teen Wolf, so.
But I think it was like people would join and we'd become friends, and then it wasn't about casting and there was no second guessing. It's like, you're our friend, it has to be you, so let's go. Like there's no doubts.
It seemed like the set was like a very family feel, and you get that from the documentary, and I imagine that's how it was like as well. It seemed like everyone was there to kind of help support and have this great film kind of organically come to life.
I think one of the most beautiful things about the mood on set, I've said that like my wife was saying, oh, it's really cool to see, you know, that there's a film set where you had a baby on the set. You had a baby in the front pack because our son was tiny and he was with us, and that doesn't really happen.
Yeah, he was one of the babies covered in blood.
He was one
I was gonna ask where those babies came from, right? Because those were real babies. Like, where did you get those?
Bobby's nephew and my son.
Yeah. So his son is my nephew. His son is my nephew, right?
Huh?
It's really cool. So I'm actually an uncle. So my favorite moment of Sid was ever when on set when we did the documentary portion when he took his footsteps on the movie set.
Oh wow, that's
And
awesome.
so I was just gonna say, I feel like the reason why we had babies and the reason why Sid took his first steps on the zombie set is because it was a real family atmosphere and it was really about hanging out first. And I think everybody loved that, and that's a huge part of what made it really special to do. That everybody was included and everybody was there and everybody was helping. My wife was making props. With our mom was making the disco ball that killed the devil, while like all of our friends and family were there. Bobby's mom was a zombie at one point, and that was, I think, one of the most beautiful things about the process was that it was, you know, an excuse to all hang out and be together.
And I think that's a really smart move for you, Jesse, and you, Bobby, to get these kids IMDb pages early on, so now they've got the cred and they can build it, you know, as they get older.
We should upload profile photos of them as lucky babies being born.
Baby 1, baby 2.
Yeah.
Shout out.
So another scene I liked is the opening scene where Sam, you and Mattie are playing instruments. I think so. Sam, you said that you write and sing. Do you play instruments as well, or is it?
Yes, I do actually. Yeah, I do play.
Stop it.
My favorite instrument to play is a guitar.
Okay, but you're playing the drums in the movie.
Well, in the drums I do, like in the movie I do play the drums, but in real life, in reality, I'm more of a guitar nerd.
Okay.
Shout out. No.
Our dog.
Mattie, do you play instruments too, or was that just all acting?
I play Jimi Hendrix's guitar. I play a DJ turntable.
Yeah. So that's another question. So that DJ scene, did you was that the first time you DJ'd, or had you done that before?
I've done it before in the past.
Nice.
Don't be modest. Mattie's
he's got a pretty
mega
amazing
like
setup.
hour-long dubstep mega mixes that are bonkers.
Oh wow.
They're for real. Like he's got it all. What are you on, Serato or
No, Visual DJ 8.
Visual DJ 8?
Yeah.
There's definitely a few times I've showed up at Mattie's house and he's just like in the room, alone in the house, just like in it, in deep, just like DJing for hours.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why do you love being a DJ so much?
I do.
Why?
Yeah,
What is it you like
why?
about
We never actually
Why?
why.
I want to relate to Skrillex. That's what I want.
Skrillex.
Yeah.
You do that you both love.
Yeah. He's a metalhead like me.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool though, that you kind of like have turned that into, into like a real passion and like a real kind of skill set.
Yeah.
And in the movie, in a pivotal scene, you take out this like silver disc and start DJing with that. What was on that disc? Do you remember?
I'm not sure. I think it was like a prop. I think so, like with the final scene when they had when Matt laid down the golden record, it was like really cool. But it added more. I was saying more an authentic feel to my fight scene with the devil, because I'm also a dancer too, right? So I'm the dancer. It was really cool. He's like, when I was a kid, when I was like a baby, I was a little show kid. Like I did tap and ballet. So that's how you know. And
That's
I
awesome.
and no female dance group in middle school.
So like you've been performing since you were a kid, and it sounds like you
Yeah.
both are kind of used to the camera.
Yeah, it's because I think me, Jesse, and Mattie were kind of like the hitman 2.0. Because my dad, as like our dad, me and Jesse's dad, was in the hitman with Greg and Kevin back in our dad's prime. But now me and Mattie and Jesse, we're the Hitman 2.0.
They were in a band called the Hitman. It was like an 80s hair metal band.
That's awesome.
That like they were pretty big around here and they have the best band photos with like mullets and jean jackets and looking like real serious and brooding. It's pretty good.
That is awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah, the posters in the movie and the frat scene. That's right. You can see it on the wall.
That's why we're the 2.0 version.
Yeah.
with the 2.0 version. Which means I'm kind of like, I represent my brother and my dad mixed together, right? But Mattie, this guy, oh boy, he's the violent one. I'll say that.
Oh, and another thing, Jesse had the same German blood like his dad.
Have the what blood?
Blood as your dad, we're both German.
Yeah, we
Some
German.
Yeah, both me and Jesse are German too, but physically I am more my mom's genetics, like the Irish and Scottish. So,
like, do you speak British?
So also just to bring it back to the disc, Jesse and I grew up with and went to high school with a good friend named Gina Freeman, who is just an amazing artist. And very early on in this idea making thing, when we realized that, you know, they had some very large ideas and we weren't going to have to we didn't have enough money to make a lot of things. So we were going to end up having to make a lot of things out of cardboard. We called Gina, who I knew worked in the art department in film, and she was like, I'm so in on this. So she made all the things, and like the entire DJ booth is made out of cardboard. All the speakers are made out of cardboard.
Oh, wow.
All the fires made out of cardboard. And she just like really came through, and it's another one of those like amazing things where never in my life would I've ever thought back. Like, Gina was a friend, but would I ever think we'd be on this like journey of, you know, making every single prop out of cardboard with her in this zombie movie. And one of my favorite moments was we were shooting the prom scene. We're trying to figure out how we were going to get the scene where Sam ollies over the bullies and says, "Later, bitches." We were like, how are we going to figure this scene out? And she was like, what if we build a model of Sam and we use a fishing pole? And so I walk outside of this prom scene, and the prom scene's in the full blown, like hundreds of zombies are in there. And Gina's out there with a fake Sam doll with some of Sam's clothes on it. And she's got like basically a fishing pole, and she's trying to see if she can swing it over people to test it out. And I was like, Gina, what are you doing? She was like, I'm trying to get the head of the game and trying to get that later bitches thing done. It's just like another one of those amazing people that came through. But she made the silver disc, the glass disc that made it like when he pulled it out, he was like, I got this secret weapon, and throws it on. It's pretty great.
That's awesome. And I love the prop, like the fire props and things like that. It gave it like a really kind of like a Be Kind Rewind type quality to it, because it's really innovative. Like, you know, I saw those costs too. Like, there's no way you could have made the movie with actual pyrotechnics given the budgets. That's a really kind of great tactic to use to give that same feel, but, you know, not have to pay $5,000 to $10,000 a day just for some pyrotechnics.
I mean, the beauty of it, as you saw, is like, you know, and I think Bobby and everybody knew, like, having everybody, all of our friends and family, all of Sam and Mattie's friends and family be around just to be cardboard and cloud, like cardboard fire and cloud holders, was actually like really fun days on set, because everybody's just standing around with, you know, little flames on pieces of cardboard, just like waiting for the scenes.
Yeah.
Everybody a fun role.
That jetpack scene really holds. Maybe it's because there's so much video footage of the behind the scenes, but that was like, we were losing the sun. Jesse had a cloud in his hand. Our photographer had a cloud in his hand. Sam's dad, and we were losing the sun, and we were like, we got to get this scene. And everyone was just like exhausted, and like all the behind the scenes footage is just like, everyone's just like screaming. We had like fans. We're like, you got to go to spring break. Let's go.
Yeah, like it looked like there was like someone lying down holding the cloud, like they were just surrounded by them.
I remember the day with Chris on the set. I was getting shaved. My face is all red. You go down shop to shop, get whipped cream, get rid of the red spot on my face.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Save it off.
I didn't remember that.
It's gross.
That's great.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah,
that's clever. So, you know, one of the kind of benefits of this film taking a little bit longer than I think people, you know, you expected to come out, is now you get to re-promote the film. You know, so I guess how has that experience been like? You know, when this came out, you're going to festivals, you were traveling around, and now it's being kind of released on the maybe the tail end of lockdown. I guess we'll find out. But you know, how has it been promoting it, you know, more, I guess, digitally versus before? And has that experience been just as fun or just different, or how has it been like?
I mean, I think the premieres were really magical times for all of us, you know, like if what we've learned through this was all just an excuse to hang out and be together, it's really sad to not be able to premiere it in person, because that was, you know, the premiere in Providence, it was just like, I'll never forget how unbelievable it was to see how many people came out to support you guys.
Seriously.
So I think we're hoping to do something like that again at some point. But, you know, I think as far as like it being a reason to get people to watch Spring Break Zombie Massacre again, that's awesome. That's really what we wanted this documentary to be, is like another way for people to see, you know, your vision.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we had some offers, a lot of really I mean, again, like with the film family, we've created some offers of like how to kind of do a virtual premiere. But we just have so much fun together. Sam and Mattie just like know how to throw a party.
Yeah, we do.
And we're like, you know what's not fun? I mean, like, no matter how much time, like, I think it's worth it for us to wait to do a big Sam and Mattie party when everyone can be vaccinated, everyone can be safe, and no, we don't. Even if we like tried to do it with like a 6 foot, like, because there were some offers of like doing outdoor space. It just didn't feel right in a Rock On Go Wild Sam and Mattie the way that they would want it to be. So I think that we're just going to hold off for the time being till we can do it the old Sam and Mattie way, just tear it down, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. And then you could also just reunite with everyone in one space again, right? Like, it feels like this documentary is kind of about that, recapturing that experience of making the movie and kind of that fun that you had. So why not have a big, you know, premiere with everyone coming back to, you know, for one big hurrah that Sam and Mattie can host.
We've talked to Columbus Theater about that, and they seem down. So it's only fitting to go back there, unless you guys have other plans for the party, the reunion.
I do want to.
Oh, the reunion. Oh, that's the other question. I think we should do the Columbus thing, and then for the reunion party, like after everybody reunites, everyone can come. Like anyone can come. They can be wives, girlfriends, exes, you know, anyone, family. Like, we can all come and just surround me and Mattie. And one thing I know how to do it, I know how to feed my bros. Food all the time.
I assume burritos, right?
We should add it.
Definitely.
How about me and Sam on the red carpet holding chainsaws, look like killing zombies?
Well,
I think I should be the whole cast that walks the red carpet. But me and Mattie go first though, because me and Mattie are the stars.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mattie, you don't want to give away the chainsaws for Spring Break Zombie Massacre 2 though, so you're gonna want to probably hold on to that, right?
Yeah. Yes. That'd be awesome to do that. The 2 is gonna be fun. We can premiere it. Everything love it. We're gonna reunite. It'd be totally awesome. Definitely.
That sounds
awesome. Bobby and Jesse can do it up. Me and Mattie can as well. So it's like really cool.
Yeah,
we all can create this atmosphere of cultural indie scene people that comes in the forefront to me. One thing that I know about fan bases, right? There's a lot more fan base of Disney and Nick. And I am a fan of Disney and Nick. I am. Like, I'm not dissing them, right? But with our genre is what really, you know, is cool. With our genre though, we want to push aside the Nick and the Disney fan base a little bit and make room for us as well.
I want to say one thing, because I know you review a lot of horror movies, and they're probably a lot of your audience. I grew up, I love zombie movies. I love like Romero, like Dawn of the Dead, but I don't think I was like deep into the horror scene before Sam and Mattie brought us into it. Yeah. They're just the coolest people. I don't know, like any horror screening or event that we went to is just like, it was just, I don't know, this is the best community. It's just honestly the best people. And so I hope that we get to do more things like that with those.
Yeah, unfortunately Jesse didn't get to come to this, but we did Telluride horror show and the families all came out. And let me tell you, like, and I've been to a lot of festivals in my life, like, that was one of the better experiences. They not only treated Sam Mattie like kings, but like We had such fun parties, and maybe it's just like the elevation, but everyone just like left there feeling just amazing. And they showed great movies, and like in the middle of the night, we'd watch these like secret screeners of other movies. They just were such nice people, and just really rolled out the red carpet for Sam and Mattie, which was great.
Yeah, I think the horror community in general is just a really kind of supportive group, because I think they're usually pretty diehard fans, and then also they just like seeing more films made. So I think it's a good kind of community to be a part of.
I think like any fan, the fans that are related to them, like horror, warfare fans, and sci-fi fans, should come in the forefront more, right? Which means I feel we should push the Disney and Nick people away a little bit more and make room for sci-fi fans, action fans, superhero fans, or action fans, or warfare fans, or horror fans. Like those genres, I love action-packed and warfare and superhero movies and horror mix. We should kind of push out the people who do the commercial bull crap and then bring the raw, like fans like you, Mattie, me, Jesse, anyone that loves horror or sci-fi or warfare, just to come in the forefront. And that's what I fight for.
I guess we're doing a sci-fi movie next.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I got a lot of ideas about space they were talking about just before this interview. Jason X is a big influencer.
That's awesome.
Oh, really?
You should watch the show for it. It's awesome.
Huh.
All right, so I know we've been going for a bit. I don't want to keep you all afternoon. So I'll switch to I call it the lightning round. It's just very lightweight questions about the film and your characters, and kind of see, things like your favorite scene, stuff like that. You can feel free to not answer them. I will not be offended at all. They're supposed to be lightweight and fun, and this is for everyone, so everyone can answer. First question is, what is your favorite zombie movie, other than of course Spring Break Zombie Massacre?
Oh, I got one.
The Walking Dead.
All right, that's a good one.
It is The Walking Dead or Zombieland.
My favorite is Zombies versus Strippers.
Okay.
Or Warm Bodies.
Zombies versus strippers?
Yeah.
Never even heard of that.
It's hardcore.
I would say the original Dawn of the Dead.
Okay, that's a good one.
Love that movie.
I'm gonna say 28 Days Later.
Those are all good choices.
Or World War Z or Warm Bodies.
Oh, I haven't seen
I've never seen Warm Bodies.
Yeah, is that good?
Yeah, it's actually a romantic film about a zombie that falls in love with the human.
It's very different. It's I appreciated what it did, because it did kind of push the genre in a new area.
Oh, I do want to ask you something.
Okay.
The guy who interviewed horror movies. Can you send me a copy of that movie, Zombies versus Stripper and Zombie Strippers?
I don't get to send out the screeners that I get. They're very limited. And I also generally tend not to get movies that are older. I only get kind of new movies, and when they come to me, they're like, you have 5 days to watch it, So I generally don't get to send them out. I get to see a lot of them myself, but I don't get to share them, unfortunately.
Can I ask what your favorite zombie movie is?
That's a tough one.
Big Zombie Massacre, obviously.
Well, that's our movie.
I mean, probably Zombieland. I loved that cast, and kind of loved how just ridiculous it was. The problem for me is I see a lot of movies. Like I think last year I probably saw 400 movies. Wow. So like it's tough for me to pull out like a favorite from that. But if you ask me about a certain movie, I can like reference it again. But
yeah.
But yeah, probably Zombieland. I liked where that went. And I'm sure as soon as I get done with this, I'm like, oh, but what about that other film? So, oh no, never mind. No, Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead is my favorite zombie film.
That's a really good movie.
Actually, wait, no, I take that back. Anna and the Apocalypse is my favorite zombie film, because that's also one of my favorite films of all time.
Wait, which one?
Anna and the Apocalypse.
I haven't seen it.
No.
It's a British. So okay, I'll just say these words, and you tell me if this fits. It kind of goes with Spring Break Zombie Massacre. It's a British Christmas zombie musical.
Wow.
I love musicals myself.
And it works.
It does work. Yeah.
I do.
All right. I guess I know what you guys are doing tonight.
This movie. That sounds like so up there.
I love musicals. Okay? My favorite musicals are Newsies, right? That's one of them. And High School Musical, right?
Yeah.
Another one too. So, well, like I do love a little bit of Disney, but something.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you do actually like Disney and want to bring them back into the fold. You know, maybe you could do like similar things, like Disney and zombies kind of together, or musicals and zombies kind of push the genre.
Yeah. Go with flip.
So next one is what was your favorite scene in Spring Break Zombie Massacre?
Oh yes.
Oh boy.
I go first. My favorite one, definitely, I would say that when I turned into the demon.
Okay.
I go to that one.
What's yours, Mattie?
I like the head coming off, the guts coming out of the stomachs, and I like the body parts on the floor.
It's a good call.
I liked Maddie's performance in the bathroom. I just remember watching that through the monitor and just being like, "Wow, that was brilliant." It was a dark scene, but your performance was awesome.
Yeah. Where would we do that again?
But you want to answer it again?
That scene again.
Oh, you want to film that scene again?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I think mine's probably Sam fighting the devil at the end by the boat, like the boat scene. Just to kind of, it's just like, it was summer, it was so hot, we had all these people in zombie gear. I was just like, great. And then definitely in the doc, I think in the documentary, it would be Mattie in the library. Going to the library is definitely one of my favorite scenes.
Because he's like, you got this movie and this movie and this movie and this movie.
Yeah.
My favorite part,
and he's like, "Love you too."
The very part I liked about it, part of the movie, was he was drowning.
No, he wasn't drowning.
I didn't drown, thank God.
Oh,
my other favorite scene is the double fight scene, and the scene with Dan where he fights that.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
And I like
that was a good scene.
It's like my least favorite scene.
I like the part of Sam kicking the devil's penis.
Actually, I did that, but I don't want to brag about that. So
that was fun.
I'm gonna be mad about that.
All right, next question. What's your favorite type of burrito, or is it just any?
Favorite type of burrito.
Mine is called burrito gasm.
Okay.
Burrito gasm.
It's my favorite burrito.
I'm talking about burritos. And my favorite kind of burritos are corn burritos. That's like a lot of beef and cheese mixed with some salsa.
I don't know. That's really hard. That's as hard to answer for me as your favorite zombie movie is for you.
You just have 400 burritos a year.
I was gonna say I'm not trying to have about that many burritos.
Don't get the.
I mean, I would just say whatever Calexico's latest hottest menu is. I'm a super fan of Calexico, and
their Baja fish burrito from Calexico with a little bit of crack sauce on it. Oh my God! I don't know what they make in that crack sauce, but Calexico's Baja fish burritos worth it.
Even Calexico's bean burritos with enough crack sauce on it, it just is the best.
Like when I'm alone and no one sees it, I order an extra bean quesadilla just to have as like a side dish to eat later.
As a vehicle for crack sauce, it's like
yeah. Definitely.
I'm waiting for Jesse to like pull up his shirt and like have Calexico tattoos on him.
I love those guys.
No, they seemed awesome. That is a very smart deal, and also they seem like they're really cool to work with. So
they're awesome.
So next question is, so if you are trying to get away from zombies, would you rather have a skateboard or a motorcycle? Because both of those were in the film.
Good question.
Say the motorcycle.
Okay.
I think I wanted to pick the skateboard, so I can do like tricks over them.
Yep.
Like, so because when I was younger, I do play a lot of like Tony Hawk games, so they're really cool, and I can like have them chase me, right? And then I'm skateboarding either in front of them or behind them or around them, which gives me permission to like tire them out more quicker.
Yep.
That's kind of why, or make them dizzy.
I think I'd go skateboard for maneuverability. Like I'd be worried that if there were zombies in the road and I was on a motorcycle, I'd fall or like not be able to get around them. Whereas a skateboard, I was never great at skateboarding, but I could sort of ollie. I imagine I could get up on the curb or something. I don't know. I'd be dead either way. Probably.
No,
you guys are dead. You guys are all dead.
I remember you in the hospital.
What?
Yes, he did.
Nah, I just want to hop on the back of Maddie's motorcycle. That's all. I definitely no skateboard.
Yeah,
skateboard's how you're gonna end up getting hurt. The motorcycle, it makes so much more sense.
That makes perfect sense. And next question is, which was more fun to film, the prom scene where you had a little bit, you know, more of a disaster, or the yacht scene where it was just kind of a crazy day? Which did you have more fun filming?
So what is it again?
Sorry, what was it?
The prom scene.
It was the prom or the boat
Or the
scene?
yacht?
Oh.
Or the yacht scene? Or some other film? Is there another scene that was more fun to film?
I think I would say between the prom and the boat scene, I'm gonna say both.
Yeah, me too.
Because both were so good. Because in the prom scene, I started out with like dancing and fun. They have like the devil showing up and crashing the party, and then the boat scene is also cool because like being surrounded by water, right, and docks really remind me of my Irish heritage. I don't know why, and it's really cool as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It does in a way, yeah.
I'm gonna definitely say the boat scene, hands down. The school was like riddled with so many problems and issues that we had, and just trying to logistical nightmares.
Oh, the
boat,
fire
by
alarms.
that time, it was just like Pauly D showed up, Pete Farrelly showed up. It was like everyone. The Mike Melia from PBS showed up to be a zombie. It was like everyone at the boat scene was like just showing up, and it was great. We had Pauly D there for the DJ scene. Our friend A-Jam came to be acting it. It just was like, you know, and also we just didn't need to like do as much lighting. You know, we didn't do as much. It was like, you know, we had steady cam and we had some like, you know, water safety things, but it was just zombie making at its best, where we could just like bloody up the water and zombie kill and not have to like worry about the school fire alarms going off.
Oh yeah.
No, that was funny.
Yeah.
The funny is the fun going on because it's funny we added that in the scene. We added that pausing the scene, and because, you know, in my opinion.
I'd say boat scene because I got to pretend I got to be in zombie getup and jump backwards off the boat into the water, which was a fun stunt, but also an excuse to cool off after like a week of 90-degree shooting. I was like, oh yeah, I'll do the water stunt. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. As long as I get to swim. How about you, Mattie? What was your favorite?
I like the part that Bobby got in trouble with his own mother for the blood in the pool.
Oh.
Did you give out that, Bobby?
Yeah, we had like Jesse's sister actually plays a spring breaker that gets eaten by an underwater zombie. Okay. But we didn't really plan on it. But the zombie, when he got in the water, he had so much blood left over in his costume and in the rubber gear that the whole pool just started turning red. And so it took my mom spends a lot of time trying to clean that pool, and she was not happy that the pool was now a bloodbath, literally a bloodbath.
Blood is also hard to get out of boat upholstery, in case you were wondering.
I was going to ask what brave soul lets you film a zombie film on a boat, but maybe that's a painful question.
How about the time
it literally came down to what? Wait, what'd you say, Mattie?
I remember the time when we all went to a car together with Dwight. No, not Dwight. What's Terry Snable?
Terry Snable.
Terry Snable. We get in the car. We're gonna go to watch car wash with it. The cop might refer to see that.
Yeah, it was a little Harold and Maude homage right there with them all drinking slushies and going through the car wash. Mm-hmm. Also, we had to figure out how to get the car, in editing wise, how the car to get cleaned from going to spring break or going to the boat scene from the car being covered in blood. So we needed to figure that scene out. So they're just drinking slushies we put the camera in the trunk of the car and they just kind of went through the whole thing. But we also didn't tell them. It was one of those, like, you fill up your tank and then you get the free car wash thing. So we didn't have to like explain why the car was covered in blood type thing.
Yeah. That seems very smart.
I do like that. It's like in that scene, it's like the movie gets bloody, but I said, well, we also can clean it up. It's like a metaphor of saying we get into trouble, we're to find ways to get out of trouble as well.
It's kind of worrisome that you can just pull up to a car wash and then wash blood off your car, and we didn't get any calls. We didn't get on any lists.
I've done that 4 times.
Yeah.
But my favorite is in New York City, they don't have the one. You have to get out of the car, and the guy's scrubbing the front, and the blood is coming off, and I'm standing there behind the glass pane looking at him, and he's looking at me. I'm like, it's fake. I swear.
Like, sure, buddy. Yeah, whatever.
Positive for murderers. Just pretend you're making an indie zombie movie.
Yeah. It's just like American Psycho, you know?
That's good life advice. Although, don't do that. Don't
do
a murder.
I think that listen, if you make a mess, right, or if you're in a messy situation, just clean it up. Then you're fine. So
that's deep. I like that.
Yeah. Or do you get
all right?
Yeah,
Last question.
So boy,
last question.
Most difficult question. Zombies are coming. What weapon do you grab?
A chainsaw.
Good one. I think I would pick my butt gas.
But why?
Because
that's gross.
Because my butt gas would be more deadly to melt the faces off. That's why.
Okay. How about you, Jesse?
I don't know.
I think like a baseball bat, or just something real blunt object that's long. Yeah, baseball bat.
I got a machete. Hands down. Definitely a machete.
I think I would also choose some sort of melee weapon, just because a gun feels more powerful, but then you're going to run out of bullets, and then what do you do? So
yeah.
But given my year of COVID quarantine, I can't imagine I'd be able to keep up swinging any sort of weapon for a long time. So maybe
give me anything, I'd go down fast. Yeah.
Or I could take my high blood pressure. That can the way.
That can work.
Because
maybe I'll take that as my weapon.
My Irish temper will, add a whole, dynamic to it.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's good. All right, so the film came out this week. The documentary, Sam Mattie Make a Zombie Movie. I imagine you're promoting it for a little bit longer as it's kind of going around. But what's next for you all? Do y'all have next? It sounds like you have ideas for a next film. So do you have anything to announce, or are you just kind of working on that? What all is next for you in the movie making realm?
Making films with this lunatic right here.
I'm not a lunatic.
Yeah. But also making movies, making more movies, filming on the side too,
What were you just saying that the sequel's subtitle is going to be?
Some chaos.
The Circus of Chaos, I'm guessing.
They were talking about space themes and Spring Break Zombie Massacre 2, Circus of Chaos.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
In development.
So that way, either the devil plays the remaster, or we do.
Kind of like a Juggalo theme starting to go. Space Juggalo.
Oh, Space Juggalo. I like this.
We're trying to hang back, but I guess if there's one thing I would say is if anybody wants to be part of Spring Break Zombie Massacre 2 or help us make it, get in touch with us. SamandMattie.com.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, mine is a bunch of cool parts, so.
Yeah.
Bobby, do you have any?
Yeah, we've also we also started a nonprofit called Rock Down Go Wild Incorporated that we hopefully are going to do more projects like this where people can submit ideas, any idea for anything, and we can help them facilitate making it happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how that's the coolest thing about this whole documentary is that you just had this idea and you ran with it. I think a lot of people have ideas and then find out it's hard or find out it's difficult or expensive, and very real logical things hamper those. But you were able to kind of push through and say, no, we're going to keep doing this. I think that's the coolest thing about this whole documentary.
Yeah, and having the right team around you is 100% like the only way of making that happen, and luckily we have such an amazing team to be able to do that. So hopefully we can create projects not only for Sam and Mattie but for other people all over the world, and that's kind of what we're looking forward to. Awesome. Making a bigger team, bigger film family.
That sounds fantastic.
I would say my favorite music group is Slipknot.
Slipknot.
Because they have that circus thing, which is totally awesome. And Corey Taylor, he's my idol. He really is. Like his vision, the things that he says are inspiring. like literally, it's like he performs with two bands like Slipknot and Stone Sour, which is really cool. And then he goes between two projects, but also presumably have the Slipknot being the sequel because they inspire us to have that satanic, binge folk, circus theme.
That's that would be awesome. I saw Slipknot live years ago, and it was an amazing show. I think that's a great idea to try to get Slipknot in your next movie.
Hey, don't forget.
I get Sean Quinn to do the protagonists, like the actual ones. Because Sean Quinn does that really good.
Hey, don't forget Psychopath Chainsaw Killers.
Is that a band?
Psychopath Chainsaw Killers?
Yeah, in space.
In space?
Yeah.
In the sequel?
Yes.
Psychopath Chainsaw Killers in space.
Yeah. That's where the chainsaw comes from. That makes sense. Yeah. Then you take the chainsaw from them, and now you have the chainsaw.
Yeah, I do.
That's pretty sick, actually.
Perfect.
Yeah, Jesse and Bobby be one of them.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I can't wait. Sounds like a prop nightmare, but it's gonna be so.
Make Bobby be the
chainsaw. That should be easy to do with cardboard, right? We'll call Gina.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I think we should just sell Bobby in half in the sequel.
Yeah.
Well, you ripped my heart out in the last one, so.
No, we didn't.
Yeah. You might as well cut me in half this one.
No.
Figuratively and literally.
Yeah,
maybe like that. Or maybe Carol.
Well, awesome. Thanks so much for joining me. I know this went longer than probably anyone thought it would. So thanks so much for.
It was great talking to you. Thank you.
It's so much fun. Thank you so much. Sorry I was late.
No worries. All right, awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
All right, guys.
Wow.
That was Sam Suchmann and Mattie Zufelt, the stars, and Jesse Suchmann and Bobby Carnevale, the directors of Sam and Mattie Make a Zombie Movie. It was released April 6, 2021 digitally, so you can check it out in the comfort of your own home. It has both the making of, and then at the last half of the film is the full Spring Break Zombie Massacre movie. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot and make sure all my new interviews go straight to you. And as always, please go to watchyourpass.com for all your movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Thank you.